Imagine for a moment, my friend, as the world outside erupts into a frenzy of noise, glitter, and forced celebration, there is a different kind of grace descending upon the earth right now. It is a quiet light, a silent blessing that looks for the places where the heart is finally still. Some homes tonight will be filled with the roar of crowds, heavy bass, and the clinking of glasses. But others will be filled with a sacred kind of peace. The question is your soul ready to receive that stillness, or will it be too busy chasing the noise? Because not every home is ready to receive this kind of rest. There are homes that are frantic, anxious to prove they are having the best night ever. And then there are homes like sanctuaries, dimly lit, warm, and deeply grounded. Today, we aren't just talking about a night on the couch. We are talking about the signs of a life that has finally learned how to breathe. Signs that you are building a sanctuary that the chaotic world cannot take away. And if you've been feeling like you're missing out by staying in, stay with me. Because by the end of this, you might realize you've actually been invited to something much more beautiful. Welcome. I am so glad you found your way here. If this video appeared on your screen today, amidst all the noise and chaos of the holiday season algorithms, please know that it isn't by chance. It is a sign. It is a signal that your spirit is calling for a rest that a party can never provide. It is a reminder that you are allowed to stop running. Before we move deeper into this reflection, I want to invite you to do something small but powerful. Let's create a circle of peace right here in the comments. Write down the name of the pet who has been your anchor this year, the one who taught you about unconditional presence. Or, if you're seeking a fresh start, simply type the word peace. As you type those letters, let them be a physical manifestation of your intention to choose yourself this year. Let it be a witness to your commitment to rest. Now, let's talk about the pressure. There is a specific kind of silence that only exists on December 31st. It isn't a natural silence. It's a heavy, expectant one. It's the silence of a world holding its breath, waiting for a clock to tell us that we are allowed to start over. In America, we are raised on the myth of the great New Year's Eve. We are told it must be loud, it must be expensive, it must be a crescendo of human energy, glitter, champagne, and the crushing weight of forced joy. We see the images of Times Square, thousands of bodies pressed together in the cold, waiting for a ball to drop. We see the social media feeds filled with parties we weren't invited to, or parties we are attending but secretly wish we weren't. But what if we looked at that clock differently? Some of us won't make it to midnight this year, and I want you to know that is more than okay. It is perhaps the most honest thing you can do for yourself. We live in a culture that fears the missed moment. We are terrified of the idea that life is happening somewhere else, and we are just sitting on a couch, wrapped in a blanket, with a dog at our feet. We call it boring. We call it giving up. But I want to propose a different name for it. Comfort, warmth, peace. Think about the sheer exhaustion of the last 12 months. You have carried burdens that no one else saw. You have navigated the complexities of a world that feels increasingly loud and chaotic. You have worked, you have worried, and you have survived. Why, at the very end of that marathon, do we demand ourselves to sprint across an imaginary finish line at midnight? The quiet couch isn't a place of defeat. It's a sanctuary. It's a recognition that the most important countdown isn't the one happening on a television screen. It's the one happening in your own heart, signaling that it is finally time to rest. To understand why so many of us are choosing to stay in, we have to look at the landscape of the modern American psyche. We are currently living through what experts call the Great Burnout. It's the exhaustion that goes deeper than just needing a nap. It's a fatigue of the soul. Consider the rhythm of the American holiday season. It begins in late November with Thanksgiving, a marathon of travel, cooking, and family dynamics. Before the leftovers are even cold, we are thrust into Black Friday, a celebration of consumption that feeds the anxiety of not having enough. Then comes the relentless march toward Christmas or Hanukkah, The gift buying, the social obligations, the pressure to create magic for everyone else. By the time December 31st arrives, we aren't just tired, we are depleted. Our social batteries are in the red. Our bank accounts are often strained. And yet, the cultural narrative insists on one final massive push. This is the FOMO trap. Social media has weaponized our need for belonging. We see the best of reels, the curated highlights of everyone's year, and we feel a phantom pressure to end our own year with a bang, just to prove we lived it well. We feel like if we don't have a glass of bubbly in our hand and a crowded room around us, our year didn't count. But look at the data. In recent years, a quiet shift has been happening. Surveys across the U.S. show that nearly 50% of Americans would prefer a quiet night at home over a night out. We are seeing the rise of JOMO, the joy of missing out. People are realizing that the cost of a night out, the Uber surges, the overpriced covers, the ringing ears, and the inevitable hangover, is a high price to pay for a memory they might not even cherish. Choosing to stay in is an act of reclaiming your time. It's an admission that you don't owe the world your presence every time a calendar page turns. It's about realizing that staying in is not a lack of options, but a deliberate choice of a better option. In this quiet pursuit, we have the best teachers in the world, our pets. A dog doesn't care about a clock. A cat doesn't care about a change in the year. To them, time isn't a linear progression of goals and deadlines. It is a series of moments. There is the now of a sunbeam on the rug. There is the now of a full bowl. And there is the now of being close to you. There is a profound biological magic that happens when we choose the company of animals over the company of a crowd. It's called co-regulation. When you sit on a sofa with your dog and you feel the weight of their head on your lap, or when you hear the steady, rhythmic purr of a cat against your chest, your nervous system begins to change. Your heart rate slows. Your cortisol levels, that stress hormone we carry like a backpack all year, begin to drop. Oxytocin, the hormone of bonding and safety, begins to flood your system. Pets bring us back to the basics of safety. In the U.S., New Year's Eve can be a traumatic time for animals. The fireworks, those loud, unpredictable bursts of light and sound, trigger a primal fear in them. They don't understand that it's a celebration. They only know that the world feels unsafe. When you choose to stay home to comfort your pet, you are performing an act of deep, selfless love. You are being their anchor in a storm. But if we are honest, they are being our anchor too. By staying home to keep them calm, we are forced to be calm ourselves. Their need for safety gives us a valid, beautiful excuse to seek our own. Think about the way a pet sleeps. They don't apologize for it. They don't feel guilty for resting when there is work to be done. They understand instinctively what we have forgotten, that rest is not a reward for a job well done. It is a requirement for life itself. As the fireworks go off in the distance, muffled by your walls, and your pet sighs in their sleep beside you, listen to that sound. That is the sound of peace. That is the sound of a year well spent. Not in the pursuit of more, but in the maintenance of this bond, this breath, this quiet safety. In the United States, we are obsessed with hustle culture. We are told that if we aren't grinding, we are falling behind. Even our self-care has become a task. We do yoga, we practice mindfulness, we track our sleep. Everything is a metric. In this environment, doing absolutely nothing is a radical act. Choosing to go to bed at 10 p.m. on the biggest party night of the year is a form of resistance. It is saying, my body is not a machine. My worth is not defined by my stamina. I am not a product to be displayed at a party. There is a beautiful concept called wintering, popularized by the author Catherine May. She describes it as a season in the cold, a period of involuntary or voluntary retreat from the world. We see it in nature everywhere. Trees drop their leaves to save energy. Animals hibernate. The earth itself goes quiet. Why do we think we are exempt from this? January 1st is technically midwinter in the Northern Hemisphere. It is the darkest, coldest part of our cycle. And yet, we expect ourselves to have the energy of a spring bloom. We set massive New Year's resolutions that require immense willpower at a time when our biological reserves are at their lowest. When we choose a quiet New Year, we are aligning ourselves with the seasons. We are giving ourselves the wintering we deserve. We also need to talk about the difference between being lonely and being in solitude. Solitude is the choice to be alone so that you can hear your own thoughts. It is intimacy with the self. For many Americans, especially those living in high-stress urban environments, we are rarely ever truly alone with our own minds. We are constantly tethered to a digital tether. A quiet New Year is a digital detox. It's a chance to put the phone in another room, to stop scrolling through the lives of others and start inhabiting your own. It's not about being lonely, it's about being full of yourself for once. If you have decided to stay in, let's talk about how to turn your home into a cathedral of healing. This isn't just about staying at home, it's about dwelling. Psychologists talk about the environmental effect, how our physical surroundings dictate our internal state. On a night when the outside world is neon and chrome, your home should be amber and wood. Think about the sensory details. Lighting. Switch off the overhead big lights. Use lamps, candles, or the soft glow of a fireplace. We are primal creatures. We are wired to feel safe around a small, warm light source in the dark. Texture. This is the night for the weighted blanket, or the oldest, softest sweater you own. We need to feel cocooned. Scent. The smell of cedar, vanilla, or lavender. These aren't just pleasant. They are olfactory signals to your brain that the threat level is 0. And then there is the ritual. Instead of the resolution list, which is often just a list of ways we think we are failing, try a grit and gratitude session. Take a piece of paper. On one side, write down what you survived this year. Not what you achieved, but what you endured. This is your grit. On the other side, write down the simple things that kept you going. The smell of morning coffee, the way your dog greets you, a song that made you cry. This is your gratitude. This is the joy of JOMO, the joy of missing out. It's the realization that when you say no to a party, you are saying yes to a deeper part of yourself. You are building a sanctuary that will last long after the glitter has been swept up from the streets. There is a secret prize for those who choose an early night. It's a prize that the partygoers will never see. It is the morning of January 1st. Imagine the contrast. While much of the country is waking up with a headache, a sense of dehydration, and a foggy memory of a night that cost too much, you are waking up with the sun. The air on New Year's Day morning feels different. It's crisp. It's quiet. The streets are empty. It's as if the world has been reset while you were sleeping. When you wake up well-rested, you aren't starting the year from a place of deficit. You aren't recovering from the end of the last year. You are actually starting the new one. There is a profound peace in that first cup of coffee or tea. You are sitting in a clean house with a clear head and a body that feels respected. You have given yourself the greatest gift possible, a head start. You don't need to rush into the new you. The old you did a great job surviving the last year, and they deserve a slow, gentle introduction to this one. The clarity you feel this morning is the direct result of the boundaries you set last night. It is proof that you are learning how to listen to your own needs. As we come to the end of this reflection, I want to leave you with a final thought. We often look for signs that we are doing well in life. We look for promotions, for milestones, for external validation. But sometimes, the greatest sign of maturity and self-love is simply knowing when to go to bed. The year will change, regardless of whether you are awake to witness it. The sun will rise, the calendar will flip, and a new chapter will begin. You don't need to usher it in with a shout. You can welcome it with a whisper. If your eyes are heavy, let them close. If your heart seeks quiet, let it find it. And my dear friend, if you found comfort in these words, please consider sharing this video with just one person you know who is tired. Someone who feels the weight of the world on their shoulders right now. In the economy of the soul, every bit of peace you share with another inevitably finds its way back to you. By clicking like or following this journey, you're helping us build a community that values the heart over the hustle. Let's be the light for those who are currently lost in the dark. Good night and Happy New Year.